Thank you, Madam Chair. The Tax Voucher Act has me very curious. When you have someone prepay taxes, that's a debit to cash, credit to liability, and that's a debt. And so I'm just curious if we're creating a debt with this scheme, would it require that it go before the voters in a ballot measure? And shouldn't debt be approved by a 2/3 vote? Because you're borrowing, and I'm just curious if that has already been researched as this discussion has started.
Finance.
Chris Cook with Finance. I believe my colleague Jay Chamberlain is on the line, and he can answer the senator's question.
Yes. Good evening. This is Jay Chamberlain, Department of Finance. So this was actually a legislative proposal, and I can't speak to whether the 2/3 vote test has been looked into.
Mr. Chamberlain, have you done any research on this yet? Like, do we have another state that's already done this?
I am not aware of any other states that have done this.
Okay, so where would one go to do a little research, or should we just wait for legislative council to flesh it out for us?
And let me check in with LAO also, Senator Moorlach, to see if there's someone there who may have a response. LAO?
Hi, good evening. This is Carolyn Chu from the Legislative Analyst's Office. Senator Moorlach, we have not researched the specific question you're asking in terms of whether or not the tax voucher proposal would constitute debt. However, the provisions in the bill actually would be for the Franchise Tax Board in consultation with the Treasurer and the Department of Finance to bring forward a proposal to the legislature for a tax voucher program, as you've outlined, by the spring of next year. So I do anticipate that this would be a question that the Franchise Tax Board would flesh out in its work on developing this proposal. And I think it is one where they likely would need to think about any constitutional constraints such a mechanism would create.
And then it would be interesting to see how it would relate to all the other bonds and pension and OPEB liabilities we have in the entire scheme. Because mentioned yesterday in another setting that, boy, we are looking at adding so much debt so fast to the balance sheet, and we already have one of the largest unrestricted net deficits in the nation. And if Mr. Viswanathan were here, I'd ask him, where's our comprehensive annual financial report? You know, here it's almost the end of session. We still haven't received it. The only state that, you know, we haven't gotten. And so we're talking about adding debt. It would be nice to see what our balance sheet looks like. Thank you, Madam Chair.